Please turn on Robot Shed.
Okay.
I got another laser. This one's supposed to be twice as powerful as the other one. That opens up some new materials to work with. So I'm gonna put this thing together and then make my logo a bunch of times in a bunch of different materials. I'll say that I had this backwards before, and so I tried putting one of these thin pieces in over here where there's this bigger cutout. So if you're putting this together and you run into something that doesn't feel right like this, then that's probably a sign you're putting it together wrong. This second screw didn't want to go in, so I had to do some jiggling around to get it to line up right. If the rain makes it hard to listen to this video, I'm sorry, but it is just awesome in the shop right now. Now that it's together, we can take it back apart a little bit, because since I'm going to be doing some cutting with this, I want to add an air assist. Buster Beagle 3D has a DIY 3D printed version that we can add, so I'm going to try that. It doesn't want to fit. Update, I filed down the inside with this round file, and I went to test fit it, and it slid right on, but now I can't get it back off, so it's gonna have to stay there. We've got to cup the shield a little bit, and then the rest is pretty straightforward. That wasn't scary. That wasn't. Let's do a quick recap here. The problem with the way I was cutting this on the bandsaw was that the bandsaw blade is always pushing down, and so if you've got something flat on the table and you're pushing it through, it's just pushing your workpiece against the table and working with you. But then as soon as you try to cut something at an angle, then it's constantly trying to have one of those teeth grab a hold of what you're cutting and slam it down onto the table. I think this is more scary than it is unsafe, because as long as your fingers aren't in the way of the blade, when it pulls that piece down, then, you know, worst case, they should go flying past on the sides. Whereas if you were holding right here, now it slams you down and you're not expecting it, and your finger's getting blasted off. Bottom line, I would not recommend cutting this on a bandsaw like this. I think a better way to do it, in retrospect, would have been drill the hole and then come back with a Dremel with a cutting wheel or an oscillating saw, something like that. Anyway, still got all 10 fingers. Let's go see if it fits. Sweet. It's a little bit intimidating to strap this down when you don't know exactly how much slack to leave, but I think if I imitate what they left here for the wire ribbon, I should be okay. So let's just check that. Yep. I'm gonna try some thread tape. I know it came with some sort of thread sealant, but it doesn't seem like it's working too great. Try this again. Maybe this just isn't rated for the pressure I have it set at. Still leaking a little bit, but not too bad. I think I can live with that. I got the firmware updated on the laser via laser box. It's connected in Lightburn. All of this was effortless. Within like 5 or 10 minutes I had it going. So now I think we try to cut some scrap wood. See what I did here? Forgot to focus it. Let's try this again. Something's up. There must be some belt tension stuff. I'm just gonna let this finish out and then we'll adjust. That cut out pretty nice after 2 passes. Woo. And it's consistently wonky. So, kudos. Let's see if we can fix that. Well, I didn't end up touching the belts, but I messed with the air assist hose, which seemed like it could be holding the laser back. And then I also increased the power for engraving. So we'll see how this turns out. So when it tries to go over, it's losing steps. Why is that? I potentially screwed up my experiment here because I tightened up the belt going left and right, and I also moved the laser towards the middle. We'll see if either of these things fix it, and then we'll circle back later. I didn't hear any lost steps that time. That's good. Well, that was 2 passes. Looks pretty good. Cool. Now that I know that it's working, I'm gonna crack open this material sampler from xTool and try these out. Why did it do that? Although it looks really good. I figured out what I did wrong. I was thinking that the right side of that crosshairs was where I was aiming for because that's right underneath the laser. But actually, now this is a wild idea, you want to aim that crosshair right in the middle of where you want your laser to be. This looks good. It came out a little light and you can barely see my name here, so I'm gonna try running it one more time over the same spot. Update, I'm gonna have to just live with it because I am not setting the origin correctly somehow, and I can't get it to go exactly back in the middle. Oh well, looks good. Oh, Uh-oh. Clearly I didn't have it centered quite right, and I'd like to take another pass, but it's already lifted off. Let me try something else here.
Well, that's good enough. I mean, it's probably hard to tell, but you can see a line on there. So it looks like it's in the lines. So, if nothing else, it should this time come out exactly like it looks in Lightburn. Position is fixed, so that's good. Still not super easy to see. I don't know if it's because it's black. I'm gonna try running it again. You would! Why would you do that? Gee. I like literally set the origin this time. Where? I don't understand. It just made this up. Yes! Yes! Alright, we'll call it. That's a wrap for tonight. Alright, I'm back, and I think I've got Lightburn figured out now. That's what I thought before. We'll worry about that later. I think the problem was that I was using the origin settings incorrectly. Basically, I was clicking set origin, and it would go back to that origin after clicking the frame button, which is kind of a practice run. But then when the job completed, it wouldn't always go back to that same place as after framing, it seemed like. So now I started also hitting the set finish position button, and that seems to have taken care of it. I got repeatable results with this outside circle. For some reason, the logo itself was in a different position the first time I did this, but I've run it a few times since then, and now it seems like it's always staying in the same spot. So I guess we'll find out what happens here. I never in a million years thought that that little Andy Writer text would come through, but it did. That is awesome. Seems like I've got the origin thing figured out, so I'm gonna move on to making a rubber stamp. That's pretty cool. Fair enough. Ha! Crud! Oh well, that's easy. We'll fix it. Oh, darn it. I forgot to reverse it this way. That's okay, because I think maybe if I ran another pass, it'd be a little bit deeper. So I'm getting too much pressure in the middle. Yeah, if I went a little bit deeper, I think it would prevent that in the middle. Alright, round 2 is done. I tried hot glue again, and I was really careful to try to smush all the areas. I just wasn't fast enough, and it always hardened underneath there too quickly, so it was lumpy. I googled what type of glue to use for a rubber stamp. Google recommended goop, which is some sort of plumber's glue. I don't have any of that, so I'm gonna try this double-sided tape. This doesn't need to last forever, it just needs to be flat and last long enough for this test. Very good. I think I would have to refine the logo so that the fine edges are a little less fine, because I'm pretty sure they got burned up, like the Andy Ryder part. You can tell that that isn't actually at the surface with the rest of this because those characters are so thin. But with very little effort prepping the image, that looks cool to me. Alright, with that out of the way, it's time to get to the main event. The thing that has had me dragging my feet for weeks. The rotary attachment. This is not quite tall enough for my mug, so gotta go up another one. That's better. Darn handle got in the way. It went well otherwise. There's try 2. I shrunk the image down so that it would fit better, but that's pretty small. I'm guessing this is why xTool has that awesome looking new rotary where you can clamp with a chuck, because then it matters a lot less for stuff like this handle and whether something is perfectly round or whether it's tapered. Anyway. So, final conclusions. Big surprise, this thing is awesome. So I'm gonna keep on lasering. You take care, and thanks for watching.